Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. Got Amazing in the building, KC Fred, and CLS. So man, you got the Royal stuff on now. You gave the Chiefs a break, KC.
Yeah, man. Because hey, the Royals are winning, man. We doing it, man. We got a winning season right now, so
I'm tired of
might have to put
KC.
another ring on the finger. But come on now.
Nah, stop playing.
Oh
Y'all
yeah.
gonna get beat out. Don't get too hyped. Y'all got football on lock. I can't lie, man. But
Oh, you like the football and the baseball team?
Hey, and the soccer. Come on now.
Soccer too.
We got the World Cup coming in 2026.
Yeah.
Doing things,
yeah,
baby.
okay.
Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
They putting KC on the map then, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Got
That's
to have
dope.
that.
But all right, man. Let me pull up these slides real quick and we'll get started. So let me go ahead and read this real quick. So Thanksgiving is a 2023 American slasher film directed by Eli Roth and written by Jeff Rendell, based on a story by a pair who produced with Roger Birnbaum. So the summary for this movie is: after a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. So, all right, give me 1 second. I'll go to the directors and the producers. So, I already mentioned them before, but directed by Eli Roth, produced by Eli Roth, Roger Birnbaum, and Jeff Rendell. All right, so the cast for this movie: my man, the legend, Patrick Dempsey as Sheriff Eric Newlon, Nell Varq as Jessica, Addison Rae as Gabby, Jalen Thomas Brooks as Bobby, Milo Mayhem as Ryan, Tommaso Sinelli as Evan, Gabrielle Davenport as Scuba, Jenna Warren as Yulia, and Ty Victor Olson as Mitch Collins, and Tim Dillon as Manny. Yeah, my man Patrick Dempsey, man, he been out for a while, man.
Long time.
I didn't realize he was that old.
Yep.
Yeah, man, he looked young, man.
Early 60s, I think.
Damn, 60s?
Yeah,
Shit, I thought 40s or something.
Yeah, nah, man. Like really, he looks good he's aging well though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look good for his age.
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, he was on my show. That movie, I think we were talking about it a little bit like last time, Loverboy. That was classic.
Yeah.
My man was smashing all them wives.
And the dude, I didn't find his name on the list. I have to look it up online. The dude, the guy who played the father.
Oh yeah, he been in a lot of stuff too.
He's been in a lot of stuff too. I'm trying to look his name. Oh yeah, his name is Rick Hoffman.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
I don't think you have his. Yeah, you didn't even have him on his list.
They typically just list out the major people. I don't want my slide looking too big.
But this is like probably like his second or third film he did with Eli Roth. Because remember, he was in the first Hostel film.
Oh, that's where I seen him at. I was trying to figure it out.
He was in the very first Hostel film. He was in that one.
Yeah. Okay.
So
he likes working with him.
Yeah, he's been in some. He was in that movie Condemned, and then he's on Suits. I don't know if you watch Suits.
Yeah, I watch Suits. Okay.
Yeah, remember Louis Litt?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like one of my favorite characters on that too.
Yeah, he's funny as hell, man. But he also knows how to do the scary movies. So yeah,
he does.
Right, let's go ahead and jump into the rating portion. So the rating for the movies, we'll start with CLS on this one. What's your rating for the movie?
It was pretty average, man. 6.
All right, so CLS is giving it 6, in between average and good. My man don't do the decimals and stuff.
Nope.
he likes it straight on the line. All right, KC Fred, what was your rating for this movie?
I gave it a 3.
Damn. You gave it a 3.
Oh, you thought it was bad.
So KC Fred has it in between terrible and bad.
Oh, okay.
All right, amazing.
I didn't expect that, but okay.
I'll going to go with like 4.5.
Oh, okay.
All right, so Amazing has this at
decent,
right in between bad and average, right in between. So for me, man, I had it at like 7.2, man. I thought this was very good, man. I thought this was a good movie.
It was just okay, you know, just okay.
The only reason I didn't do a lower score is just because of the little plot twist. Otherwise, I couldn't have even gave it a 4.5.
Yeah, because I thought they fooled me too. I thought it was Ryan at first. I initially thought it was Ryan. Yeah. So they got me. You got me.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and break down why I gave it like a higher rating than y'all.
Good.
So like the reason I rated it like that, I thought it had like I'm not gonna say the plot and the storyline was all that great because a typical horror movie, but man, I thought it was pretty funny. I ain't gonna lie, like it gave me like
it was.
What was the one where they used to run around with the knives? Scream. It gave me some of that with some comedy, but
it did.
Like y'all mentioned, the twist. Man, I was guessing like 3 or 4 times. I was like, oh, it's got to be this person. So that's why I liked about it. I thought like it wasn't so obvious, and then the plot line was a little different, like I said, because it lined up with like, the cheesiness, but also it's like, man, I ain't spot my man to the end, like being the killer. I thought it was like I had honestly like 4 or 5 people that at different points I was like, all right, that person might be it. I was like, nah, I'm wrong. This person might be it. So yeah, I never would have put what's his name's character at the end. But all right, I'll go ahead and pass it to Amazing. Why you give it the 4.5?
Yeah, I thought to me it was more comedy. Like I would not classify it as horror at all. I guess this new age like slasher type slash comedy. Everything was just so exaggerated, from like the blood and the killings and the breakage of limbs, like when Bobby's arm got broke, it was like one step and he's like, it's all like deformed. And then when Jessica like jumped over the fence and there goes her ankle, like I'm like, come on, this is just like so exaggerated. Yeah. So I thought it was more comedy, just so to put it in like thrill category, I was like, there's no thrill here. But some of it was definitely funny. Like there was more corny jokes than anything about like the stepmother making a good meal, and there's just like several corny jokes, especially at the end Thanksgiving when they were all around the cook mom. I thought they were clever and I found them corny and funny, but yeah, definitely not horror, so I gave it decent just for that aspect.
That's his style, though. If you watch more Eli Roth films, that's just his style. Like if you go back and watch all those films, you'll see all the similarities from this film and the previous films too. Have you seen like the Hostel films? Have you seen like all of the Hostel films, The Green Inferno, Cabin Fever, Knock Knock, Death Wish?
I normally honestly fall asleep during those. Like if we weren't reviewing it, I don't know if I would have made it through this movie.
But the humor kept you awake though, right? They did have some funny scenes in there. Like what's the dude? McCarthy was the funniest person in the whole movie. McCarthy, he's the dude that had his dad on that gun shop. He was selling.
This day kept me alive. This is what kept me awake. Is knowing I was doing this review. That's what kept me awake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
But all right, Casey Fred, why'd you give it a 3?
This was horrible, man. This was just bad. There's no way you could eat any food. There was no nachos. There was no chips. There was no dip. I mean, anything that you tried to even eat with this movie, you would have been throwing it right back up, man. I mean, the gore on there in the first 10 minutes just made you be like, man, I think I'm about to throw up in this movie. This is crazy. And so it just, I didn't know you had to be able to use that as action and everything. But what got me so bad was I knew who the killer was just because the way he was acting. No, I just didn't know the reason why he did it the way he did it. You see what I'm saying? But the way he kept popping up, the way he kept showing up, the way he was always close to the scene and everything, you knew that was him, but you just didn't know why. And so the whole thing is you really didn't know the real reason until I can honestly say it was the last 7 minutes and 46 seconds. Yeah. Because one thing I kept like, thank God this was on Netflix, because there's no way I would pay money to go see this movie. And as far as Patrick is concerned, he's done a lot of great movies. But if you notice, he wasn't even producing this. He's not putting no money behind it. I think this was a rough patch for the brother. He was just trying to make it through. As far as the actors were concerned, I think that all of a sudden they did a decent job as far as dying, but who goes around cutting off heads and then putting them right there at the Thanksgiving dinner? I love Thanksgiving, and I just feel like, yo, man, this is not how Thanksgiving is supposed to go down. I was thankful that the black brother made it to the end, but the first black brother died in the first 5 seconds, and I was like,
he did.
So we about to go down like this. So there was a lot of reasons why I was just like, I know I love action, so I'm glad that it kept going. I'm glad that it was a short film, that it didn't keep going on. But it was a lot of gore up in here, man. And it was just like, I know they kept trying to find different ways of how to kill somebody, but it was really rough. It was really rough. There's no eating involved when it comes to this movie. You just had to watch it and brace yourself because you knew it was coming. And you just didn't know exactly how they was going to die. And in that case, I thought it was very spontaneous, but also definitely the way they died, it wasn't like the way you see it in most movies. I mean, he was finding some very unique ways of killing these guys. And I was just like, okay, this guy is definitely psycho, because that was crazy. I mean, if it was us, we would not even wait no whole year before we start slicing and dicing somebody, especially somebody that we love. And you found out that that was actually his family, you know, the person that he wanted to marry, as well as the unborn child. I get the reason behind it, but you never knew that. They kept that so top secret until the very end. And so I thought that was cool. And that's probably the only reason why it helped me at least push it to 3, because I was going to put it in 1 for trash territory.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't that bad. Come on. It wasn't that bad.
No, because I felt like it was predictable in a lot of ways. We've seen this before.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it was just the simple fact of it is it did for a lot of people that wasn't really paying attention. Like if you saw it the second time, you would know that it was the cop. I actually, because it was Netflix, was able to start it again. So that way I can actually watch it. I didn't just watch it all the way through, which most movies I just watch it all the way through. But this right here, there was so much gore, and I was just like, man, like the dude that was just driving at the parade, and then he got that log that goes right through his head. I mean, come on. Our old boy, I can't remember his name. He's right there. They finally got him at the dinner table, and he said, hey, way to use your head. And he smashes his head in on live video while he's taping everything. And I was just like thinking to myself, this is too much, man. This is way too much, you know. Just shoot him and go on about your business. But it was just like he had to keep doing this because one thing, he was hurting that bad on the inside. Us, we would have just took a gun, killed him, would have been done with it. But this guy, he had to go ahead and do it the most vicious, cruelest way that he could find. And I was just like, and for him to be a cop and to do that, bipolar all the way through. And he was always so nice, you know, Oh, we gonna get him. Dude, this is you. We know it's you. You know,
we ain't know that. Fred capping. Yeah, y'all think Fred is he had the right person?
No, man, you knew it wasn't nobody. I mean, the dude was too short. I mean, you knew he was exactly the same height, he was the same build and stuff. And you knew by the way he had his masks and stuff like that. He had 4 or 5 different masks that he used. I mean, it was so obvious. And the simple fact he was always there at the scene. It didn't take him that long to even all of a sudden pop up and be in his little police uniform.
But isn't that what the sheriff does though? A sheriff, if they're doing an investigation, he's gonna be at every scene.
Show up first.
Great point, CLS.
The deputy show up first, then the sheriff. But the sheriff was always there. So come on, man. Sheriff is usually chilling, eating donuts. He lets his little deputies go out there and check the scene. But the simple fact that you out there right away, come on, man. That just lets me further know you was a part of it the whole time.
But that's how it is in a small community, though. Like, wasn't it a small town? It was a small town, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
I think he probably was like one of 2 cops. Like it was him and the deputy.
Yeah. So the small towns are like that, bro. Yeah, small towns are.
Yeah, I will say the pushback I have is I actually wanted a turkey after I watched it. I was like, ooh, turkey, roasted turkeys would be tasty. Made me want turkey.
I ate Papa John's watching this movie.
Love gore.
I was eating. I had Papa John's pepperoni pizza eating this movie. I was eating and watching the movie.
You love gore, so
You said Papa John's.
Papa John's.
And then back on Jerk, he's the one that was talking about our classic movie before, so I always got pushed back on him. So you know, now he wants to be all, you know, this was the best movie ever, but this was trash. You know it, and Patrick wouldn't even put any money behind it. So that lets you further know this was trash. So
I think this was a good movie. I think y'all off, man. I think y'all, man, Otto messed up y'all brain, and y'all want to. A man called Otto. After that one, y'all just like lost a little bit of focus on. We might need to take a break and get y'all right or something.
He doesn't play the villain much though, so it was kind of cool to see him play the villain for once.
Yeah, because he's always a nice guy. Even what's that, Grey's Anatomy, man? He's always playing like the lovable guy. So yeah, I like the villain character,
the likable character.
And
I've only seen one other movie where he played the villain. In Transformers, he turned out to be a villain in Transformers. I think the one with Mark Wahlberg? That one.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy now.
And he was a mobster. He played in Mobsters. You know, he was what was the guy's name? But did a good role, man. Great actor. But yeah, I do like him as a villain, man.
Yeah, I mean, I it was cool that he was able to do it, but this was no Denzel Washington performance, man.
Nah.
This is straight trash, man. That gore stuff, he just took it too far, brother.
Fred, when was the last time you saw Denzel Washington do a slasher film?
Never.
Exactly. He'll do
he should though. I like actors that challenge.
He was the villain though. He has been a villain.
Oh yeah, Training Day.
That's my whole point of what I'm saying. I mean, it was just like, and so when you saw him, it was shock and awe, but at the same time, he put his best performance. You can't say Patrick did his best performance in here. He was just trying to get paid, man.
You don't need.
I thought this was a good movie, man.
Netflix. This was not going to do well at the box office anyway, bro.
Yeah, but I don't think he got so many solid performances where it's like, man, everything never got to be blockbuster. Like he held this together, I think, with his performance. But let me go ahead and get CLS on there. Why'd you give it a rating, the 6?
I was gonna say, I think some of these actors, sometimes they might just do films because it's different. It's different. It's a different pace than what he's used to. You know what I mean? So maybe he just did it for fun. Maybe he didn't do it for the money. But yeah, that's my guess anyway.
Everybody does it for the money, bro.
You don't need Patrick Dempsey. You act like Patrick Dempsey on food stamps or something. He is not struggling, bro. He is not. I promise you, he's not struggling.
Hey,
he's one of the probably highest paid actors. I think he's up there in that list.
If this would have been his first movie, he would have been on food stamps for real, bro.
He would have got a Grammy.
He's eating Hot Pockets and eating chips. I don't know, man. I don't know, but because I never even could look at most of the cast though. Like I said, there's only like 3 or 4 people. There's only 3 people on there who I recognize, and of course I know who Eli Roth is. But the rest of them, they all look like fairly new like actors and actresses or whatever. I've never heard of any of them.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of them was like Disney. They were like younger, and you remember the one her boyfriend in the beginning. He was on The Sopranos. You remember?
I think he looked familiar. He did look familiar. That's
Meadows' boyfriend, where Tony pressed him like, "Hey, man."
Bobby. Oh yeah, Bobby wasn't. Was that him? You sure?
Yeah, he was on The Sopranos.
Nah, man, I don't think that's the same dude, man. That dude.
I tell you, it's him, man. Because that's what Tony. Bro. You remember he was in her college boyfriend, and he was like, "Look, man, I don't like my daughter dating your kind." You remember?
Nah, it's not him, yo. He's only 22. I just looked him up. He's only 22. That can't be him. You know when The Sopranos came out? You know how old we are? He's 22. No, he would be in his 40s.
Yeah.
That's okay.
If it was him,
yeah.
He does kind of look like him though.
They look alike though. Okay, I thought it was the same.
She was dating like a mixed dude though. I remember you talking. I do remember that scene because he
looked just like him, man. Might be his son or something.
Because I think he was like half. He might have been like half Italian, but he was like he was part Mooley. So that's the part he didn't like. He didn't like the half black part. But yeah, bro, it was just okay. And for the record, because I think Fred mentioned, didn't one of you guys mention Scuba? Scuba was the biggest pussy in this whole movie. Just so the black dude that was dating what was the girl name?
Hey,
Not Jessica. What's the other girl name?
Julia.
Yeah, Julia. No, Scuba was a pussy, man. He really was.
Hey, when you said funny part, I know we're gonna get to it, but the funny part too, it was the dude that's supposed to be a Russian, and the father, and he's supposed to be like, he acted like he was the mafia, and he said, "I tell you what we about to do. We about to go to Florida." And so I said, "That's way too funny," because he looked like he should be part of the mafia, like he should be able to handle this situation. And here he talking about, man, we about to get out of here.
Yeah.
Forget this. And he still died. So I was just
exactly. I can't wait till we get to the scene part, man. We're gonna break this down. Can't wait. Oh man.
All right, but let's go ahead and jump into the next question. So, would you recommend this movie to anyone, and would you ever watch this again? I'll start with myself on this. Yes and yes. Amazing.
Depending on who my audience was, like, I mean, if I know Fred, I would never recommend it to him. But I mean, there are people that if people don't like gore, I would not recommend it. But in general, I would say, it's a funny little movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Casey, Fred.
Yeah, there was this old dude. He's on TikTok or whatever, and I wish I could play his. He gets on there and he says "Hell to the no." That'd be what I would be playing right about now.
I think I know
but I'm gonna just say no and no.
All right. CLS.
Yes. Well, yes and yes. It's just like Amazing was saying. If the person is into, they have to be into that type of film though, like he or she, like blood and gore and
All right. So, what did you think about the plot of the storyline? We'll start with Amazing on that.
I thought both honestly was just basic. I think the storyline again towards the end, I did start to think towards the end it was the sheriff, but I definitely wasn't expecting, like Fred had mentioned, I was not expecting, him, that whole love triangle to be happening and then her to also be pregnant. So I thought that was a little twist in the storyline. But in general, I thought they were just kind of basic.
All right. Casey, Fred, what did you think about the plot of the storyline?
I thought it sucked. But I mean, my whole thing about it is, like I said, most of the times when we're watching movies, when it comes to revenge and when it comes to wrath and killing, it just don't take this ain't no annual thing, man. And why are you messing up Thanksgiving, man? I mean, that was just what got me. I know it happened on Thanksgiving, but to all of a sudden dress up and okay, so next Thanksgiving I'm just going to dress up and kill everybody. I was just like, okay, that's just taking it too far. But I did understand why, because he's supposed to be, the policeman that's supposed to serve and protect. But it was funny that even in the parade, what is he dressed up? He dressed up as a clown because he knows everybody else is already dressing up as the killer. So I thought that was very interesting. So that was kind of like a little twist in the middle or whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I just was like, it just don't take that long to be able to do what you got to do if you're carrying out revenge. In fact, most movies, they don't even wait that long. They go ahead and take you out right then and there. So I felt like they was kind of dragging it out, but once again, they filled it up with all this gore in between and everything. So it was just like to kind of fill up the parts, but you kind of knew it was coming. And then at the end, the twist was the why, not the who did it, but the why did he do it? And I felt like that's what all of a sudden was the big aha moment. Mm-hmm. So in that case, I kind of liked it at the end, but you didn't find that out, like I said, until I believe it was 7 minutes and 46 seconds. So, I mean, and so from there, like I said, they could have did better, but it is what it is.
All right. CLS, what did you think about the plot of the storyline?
It was just okay, man. Just okay. And to add on to what Fred was saying, I think the reason that the killer, he waited like a full year, mainly because I think that was probably like one of their bigger, when the big sales day was Thanksgiving, that big Black Friday. So I think that's why they waited. It's probably when they made the most maybe most of their money, because it looked like a Kmart type of store. You know what I mean? And maybe that's probably like their big sell. Huh?
I said, yeah, like Walmart or Kmart or something.
Walmart or Kmart or something. Yeah. So maybe he knew that would hurt the business if he waited to the next Black Friday. You know what I mean? Maybe he was trying to put them out of business and then also get revenge for what happened.
Well, and if you think about horror movies in general, I think a lot of them go off anniversary. So whether it's like the same time or, you know, like at 2:07 a.m. every night, this clock started, or
Friday
you know,
the
on
13th,
this day.
They're going on for like 50 years and shit.
Yeah, but he knew that would hurt. He knew that would hurt the business though, because you know he blamed it. He blamed it on the family. It was like the whole family, the owner, everybody, father. So he was just like, you know, wait till that particular day to do the thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right. So what I thought about the plot and the storyline, I actually liked it. Now that I'm thinking about it more, because I think it hit on the whole Thanksgiving element. You know, because typically, like Fred pointed out, it's always like a happy time. So like this whole incident went down, and then it was like that crazy first scene, you know, that played out. So I like how it kind of carried out through the movie.
That wasn't realistic, you know that, right?
What was that?
That opening scene, that riot scene.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a slasher film. Yeah, no, it's not.
But think about it. That's not realistic. Who the hell hires 2 security guards on Black Friday? You see what I'm saying? 2. He only hired 2, and 1 ran away.
Hey, didn't you just tell me that this is a small town?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They lucky they had like any security guards. That's why I'm like, oh, man.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they can hire at least 5 people or something. You know what I mean? He can afford more than 2 people, though. You know what I mean? They making all that money. He can hire more than 2 people.
I think that's a great point, though. And the more people were saying,
ain't no damn great point.
There was more people. There was more people waiting in line.
Well, I was gonna say Jerk's point was great about it being Black Friday.
Yeah. But you saw all the people that was in the parking lot versus who was in. Matter of fact, they had like what, 3 cashiers and 2 security guards.
Yeah, but you know what? If you think about it, because I spent a lot of time in a very, very little town growing up, where that's what, even the cops, like if you knew if the cop was there because they only had 1 car. So if you drove by the station, you knew if they were there because they only had 1 vehicle.
They got 1 car.
Yeah. So everybody knew where he was at. But with that being said, like when they have sales at popular stores, it brings in all the other small towns. So they had like all the towns from surrounding areas coming for their little.
Yeah, because you remember the one dude that was outside?
Yeah, dude, I grew up in a small town too.
Yeah.
I grew up. Have you ever been to Eastern Maryland? Exactly. No. That's how small it is. Exactly. I mean, it's bigger now, but
I was in northern Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm from a small city. But I'm a small town boy.
Just going back to the plot. So I like how it connected, you know, from the beginning, because like I said, you had the Thanksgiving element. Then you had the like whole, like I say, revenge plot. And what made this like I would say different, where I liked it, it was like low key, man. The one guy, Patrick Dempsey, the sheriff, he was low key kind of a piece of shit, because it was like, man, you think about it, he's sitting over there creeping with that dude's wife.
Yep.
Because at first I thought that was the main killer, the main husband, but here it is, the sheriff like coming over to his house, because you remember in the beginning he was at the crib like. I was like, damn, that's shady. I was like, my man was shady.
Rat the pie.
He said they go in the he was in the kitchen, right? You said getting pie or something?
Yeah. Getting pie and stuff.
He got her pie too.
So just the way that everything kind of played out, I was like, man, this is actually pretty clever. You know, when he threw home, I'm getting to the scenes, but yeah, I just thought the plot and the storyline, man. I thought it was like clever, man. I thought it was very funny. Definitely gory and stuff, but yeah, I thought the twist, like I said, I never had the sheriff picked. I still think Casey Fred is lying about that, but
I thought, like I said,
I known him for a while. He's a trustworthy guy, so I'll give him credit for that. But I didn't have it. I had like 3 or 4 people that
I just pretty much Ryan. Just Ryan, because you know Ryan was taller than Bobby, so I thought it was Ryan. Plus, him and Bobby were kind of beefing over Jessica.
Yeah.
So I thought it was Ryan.
Cause see, I thought it was one of them at first. I thought it was the husband, and then I thought it was that that one dude that was the coach in the beginning scene. He was like an asshole, so I thought it maybe was him. So yeah, I jumped around quite a bit, man. I never had it pinged as like. Yeah, but what was that? I didn't even hear you.
I said you were all over the place.
Man, I could have guessed it, man. That's what I'm saying. Because even like one of the scenes, like when Fred was like, dude was always on the scene and stuff. The sheriff.
The sheriff.
You know what kind of took him out of the loop for me is like, you remember where they were at the school and they were like in the hallways and she was getting chased, but then she like ran out to the door and the sheriff was already outside in a car talking to the other guy. So I'm like, okay, it can't be him because so that's why I'm saying the way they made that scene look, I'm like, all right, well, shit, they outside. There's a witness pretty much. So I was like, so I still think. Now I'm definitely thinking Fred's capping.
That was the reason. That was the reason why I thought it was Ryan. That's why I thought it was Ryan.
Oh, okay.
If you look real close, it wasn't the sheriff. It was actually another cop.
I'm gonna go back and look.
That's what I thought it was.
You thought it was Ryan too, or the other cop, the deputy?
I thought it was the other cop because they showed him and they put the mask on him and he was just like, "Hey, what's this?" And it's like, but I didn't think it was him after the first scene because the dude looked short.
Yeah,
and that's when I thought it was Bobby.
Oh, okay.
Bobby. Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, Bobby was the ex-boy.
The only reason why,
the baseball
because
player.
he disappeared.
Right, but the only reason why I knew it wasn't him is because he hurt his arm. And if you guys remember the way that killer was, he was slicing and dicing with that right arm like it was.
Yeah, I didn't think it was Bobby.
And Bobby can't do that, man.
I thought it was the weird new boyfriend.
Remember rehab? He was going to rehab.
Yeah, he did a full recovery because it was over a year.
Nobody was swinging like that, bro. For real,
Bobby. It
was crazy. And besides, somebody had to really know the area, and that's how I knew it was the sheriff, man, because he knew all the nicks and crannies of where everybody would be, how they would be, how to get in, how to get out. And even when they was running away from him, it was interesting. They would run into one room. He was like, where are we? And then they would have to run out of there. And then, man, they didn't really know where they was. But the sheriff, he always knew where they was. And
all right, we're going to do a quick poll. Do you believe Frederick guessed the killer? And I'm going to start with Manic. Manic, do you believe that Fred had it right from the jump?
Oh, Fred said he had it right from the very beginning?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh, nah. I'm going to go.
All right, that's a no for Manic. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to him.
Oh, God. Females with this whole... Casey Fred, do you believe yourself? Nah, we're CLS. Do you think he had it right?
Maybe.
I didn't have no nachos, no food, no nothing. You guys made me watch this gore.
I mean, he did.
Every 10 minutes to bed to be like, catch my breath, because I was like, so I saw everything. I didn't want to watch it. And like I said no and no. And if it wasn't for you guys putting this up, I'm trying to tell you, I don't even think Patrick Dempsey went back and saw this movie. That's why he didn't help.
All right, but let me get CLS on record. So do you believe him, CLS?
No, I was gonna say he did say he had an empty stomach. It was Fred had an empty stomach, and he didn't watch it all the way through. He said he kept pausing and coming back to it. So maybe I give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he had an empty stomach too. So maybe I don't know.
All right, Wally. My man Wally just pulled up. Wally, Casey Fred said he had the killer pegged from the very beginning. He said he knew who the killer was. Do you believe him? I don't.
So from my perspective watching the movie, nah, I don't believe it. Because the way how they were doing this, you would think it would be somebody else. The officer, honest to me, was the last person. Was the last person, honestly.
Facts.
He's the person that knew the whole town, knew exactly where everybody would be.
I mean, true. He was the one that knew it all, but that doesn't mean nothing.
It's always, you don't watch enough Scooby-Doo. It's always the person.
I like how you do that. I like how you did that. But
hey, Fred,
I believe you now. With the corny reference pushed me back into your. I believe you now.
No. Yo,
the Scooby-Doo reference. You're definitely onto something.
No, I'm saying I'm glad he said that though, because there is a Scooby-Doo reference in the film.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Okay.
I'll wait. There is a Scooby-Doo reference in the film. Yeah.
Let me get Manic. Let me get your rating for the movie. So for mine, what was mine? Like a 7.2 or something? Yeah, 7.2. I'll go with a 7.2. Amazing had what was yours again? 4.5. Casey Fred had a 3. CLS was a 6. So Manic, what's your rating for this movie?
I actually had a 5.
You had a 5. Okay, decent average for you.
Yeah.
All right, my man Wally. What's your rating for this movie?
So all y'all rate this low?
I had a 7.2.
Oh, you had a 7.2? Okay, so you're the only one that didn't rate it low. Okay, I'm like, what?
Yeah, here's the highest. Here's this.
Let's remember how this went down with autos. So this is all in reverse. Remember that, Wally.
No. No, we ain't pulling that. We ain't pulling that. No. We ain't pulling that. This is not in reverse. This is not in reverse. Because one thing
you got, Wally?
here's my problem. I'm gonna tell you the score, but one thing is, if we noticed by the time the officer told the scenario and broke it down, there was way too no, you would never even think that, let alone the plot and the revenge story on it until the end. So for the fact of that, they left so much layers and they just jumped it. It's like you really didn't really breathe that out to even figure out the clue around that. Because I ain't gonna lie, because at first there was 2 options in my head, like who this could have been. But the thing is, because the husband, I was thinking it was the husband that lost the wife, but I'm like, nope, he's too big. So there's no way. There's the size of that person, there's no way. Yeah. And I'm thinking it was the jealous dude that was jealous. That was the other option. Ryan. Because he's the only option that fit the bill.
Yeah, Ryan.
And then I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, oh. But then as time keeps on going, and I'm thinking to myself, the skill set, everything else, all those other things, the whereabouts, how he's playing it. Oh, now he wants to send the signal. The police officers go there. There was nothing there underground. Okay, yeah. Okay, now it started to make sense. It's the officer. But I'm like, okay. So, but for me, because the fact of all this going down, I actually gave it a 7.
That's what I'm talking about, Wally.
All that talk, he's just saying probably get the rating. I was like, when you give the rating?
Yeah.
I get
we gotta do some.
After all that, I give it a 7.
Well, hey, look, if you got the pushback, bring it in for me, because as good as I like the movie, I couldn't give it as higher than anything else.
You wasn't listening because you wasn't here earlier, but the point of it is I knew who it was because, like I said, the person that all of a sudden knew every person that was involved and every person that he killed, it had to be somebody that everybody knew and he knew them. So you knew that it had to be him.
Are you shaking the mic?
Yeah, you keep hitting the mic.
Casey Frank got a heavy hand.
Oh yeah, don't hit the table. Don't hit the table.
Until 7 minutes and 46 seconds left of the movie, that's when you find out his wife.
Red, the table. Don't hit the table.
No, you're hitting the mic.
Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
I get all hyped when it comes to the Chiefs, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Here we go. He's bringing football into this.
So you keep shaking your mic.
Yeah. But for real, seriously, this movie sucked, and you know it there, Wally.
No, don't you dare. See, we ain't pulling no reverse Uno, and it's like now we're gonna tell you, oh, Wally, no, bro, you can't ride with this. No. I put my
Wally, you're a movie connoisseur.
I put my voting, goddamn it, I'm sticking to it.
You're a movie connoisseur, and they're just realizing that they give terrible ratings.
There's only one thing. Honestly, I would literally push this back down in points. And there's only one thing: that massive jump that they did without putting in extra context into the movie. Because that important context would have been majorly important to figure out who this person is.
Are you talking about the twist, the plot twist?
Yes, of the wife being pregnant, everything. That would have been important to know. That would have been so important.
That was a good twist, though.
Exactly. That's why it was a shocker.
So, real quick, what did you think about the plot and the storyline, Manic? Why did you?
I thought the storyline was. I thought the plot was pretty cool. It's just, I mean, when I say pretty cool, I mean like it's basic, but it was understandable. The storyline was cool. It flowed pretty well. This was a slasher, but it was funny because like the deaths were just so extreme, like over the top. Like, I mean, I think the first, I guess the first death is like,
the first one was a little bit off. Like it was a little too much.
All of the deaths were off. Like my man got crushed and like no door falls like that. Like the whole thing fell on him. Like it was like a door made of Legos where like it's all connected at the frame. So that fell on him. Like
that was funny.
Dude shouldn't have died there. And then like the next person that died, like was trying to walk through the door and just got their neck completely slit through, and they just keep walking like, oh, it's just like. And then Bobby like gets his arm broken because somebody steps on his arm, like his arm completely twists. Like, yo, I've never seen somebody just step.
And then the wife, man, the wife.
Yeah, the wife. She falls to the ground, and then her hair gets caught in the cart, and somebody just keeps pulling it, and then just like rips off her scalp, and then all of a sudden she's leaking.
That was the diner chick. The diner chick trying to get that waffle maker. I think she was pushing that cart.
Waffle maker.
But don't go too much into the scenes because we're gonna go in the scenes right after.
Oh yeah, that was funny though, man. It was funny.
I mean, it was funny. I mean, the plot was pretty good. The storyline was, solid all the way through. And I did like the little twist that it had with the whole like, unless somebody tells you it's a comedy, you're like, what is this that I'm actually what even am I watching? Like. Because the movie was serious the whole time. There was no funny parts in there. It was like a real serious movie. Just the only funny parts were like the deaths, and like they were just so extreme and over the top. Like so, yeah. I thought it was pretty good. I think I'm already like thinking about rating it a little higher as I'm talking about it.
Come on up, baby. This shit was hilarious.
Have you seen some other Eli Roth films like Hostel and all them other films?
I seen Hostel, but I don't remember it being like super like over the top.
Like Scream though. Then like Jerk mentioned, like it's kind of similar to Scream, that like the way they kill people. That
funny. Definitely very similar to Scream.
A lot of
humor. So they're doing. Oh, okay.
But all right, Wally, let me get what did you think about the plot of the storyline?
Okay. So I'm guessing y'all already said what you recommend and would you watch it again. So real quick for that, I would. As far as the plot and the storyline, plot was all right. I mean, like I said, it was still good. I still do wish there was a difference within, like, towards the beginning scenery.
Oh yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the storyline still fit well to where it was going down, because you were still guessing, like, other than what Fred was saying, you were still guessing on who the culprit was at the end of the day. And there was some decent options of who the culprit could be. But as you wear it down and you saw the actual crook and the villain, you can tell just by body size and everything else, there's only certain people that can fit the mold. And of course, as time goes on, it's like, you're already picturing off like who could this honestly be eventually. Because I ain't gonna lie, the way how it was playing off too, I almost thought there was like two people that works at this. And there was an extra partner helping him out.
Like Scream.
But it was just, I thought there was an extra partner. So that's what I thought at first. But then it was just one person so far. So it was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was just the one thing. But nonetheless, it was solid.
Okay. Sorry, what scenes or performances stuck out? And we going to go to CLS first on this one.
Okay. I don't want to say all of them because I know everybody probably got their favorite scene. I'll just say a couple.
Just go ahead.
Well, Manny just brought up the opening scene. I thought that was hilarious. And then I'm sure you guys would agree that even though this was a small community, a small town, you're going to hire more than 2 security guards. It's not maybe.
I have to disagree with you, man.
2 security guards, bro, and then one ran away, and then it was just the black guy. And he got trampled over. So that was it. And had 3 cashiers. But the two, what do you say? Well, I won't say the whole movie, but remember the scene? McCarthy was the dude. He was the dude. Remember when they were in the parking lot at the high school and he pulled up in his pickup truck? And I think he almost like hit Jessica. And then was it Scuba says? Well, he almost hit Scuba's girlfriend. He said something to him. He's like, "Man, I already kicked your ass." And then the dude McCarthy was like, "What did he say?" He was like, "Easy, easy." He said, "Whoa, easy, Scooby Snacks." Remember that? Yeah, I think his father owned like a gun shop or something like that. But he was
that was the cat with the
Okay, I know what you're saying. Hey, he was a pivotal piece to the movie too.
He was, Joe. He was funny.
He really was
funny. He was funny as hell. But he was just trying to sell alcohol. Because remember later in the film they showed him, and he was having that house party, and those kids showed up. I think they looked like they were like 13 or 14, and he was telling that story about Black Sabbath.
Yeah,
you remember that? Oh my God, I was in tears. I was laughing at that part. He was telling them about how Ozzy Osbourne got fired, and he was just like. And the kid was like, "Wait, so who's Black Sabbath?" said, "Get the fuck out of here." He said, "Get the fuck off
Yes.
my property." And he hit him with the red cup. He said, "Get the fuck out of here." He said, "Go back to my throne, you dork." He said, no virgins allowed. Oh my god!
That's what I'm saying. It was hilarious, man.
My head was hurting. I was laughing so hard, yo. That was. So
but all
funny.
right, Wally, what scenes or performances stuck out to you?
All right, so a scene that stuck out to me was literally at the beginning part, like towards the beginning. It was like I'll give Fred this little piece. That little moment between the cop and the woman, it is a good signal that there was something there, which of course by the time you got deep into the movie, it does make perfect sense that he is the guy that did all this, but it's still just not enough, really. Even though you do see that sort of that glare in her eyes, that like, yeah, there was definitely something there. So I can give it a Fred that, yeah, this does make sense that, yeah, you could figure it out early on. Another piece of part that stuck out to me was the part when they were at the market. That moment when they broke to the glass, that was the most fakest moment I ever. Like, I'm sorry, that was just terrible. That was terrible. It was comedic, but at the same time, it was terrible. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Where's the bats at? Like, someone breaking the glass, something. Like, no, that is not realistic at all. It was just horrible. That was just horrible. And to see the dude get trampled and then thrown on the glass, it's like, the glass is falling on you. How do you die because of the glass? How? Like, it made no sense to me. So it was just from that part was just horrible. And two, just another thing, those sceneries at that point, it was just horrible. Like, the woman is crawling, and it's like, you're crawling, when these people move, you better stand up. And then yes, you keep crawling, then boom, you get clipped, your hair gets snapped, you already getting part of your skin off. Like, okay, you could avoid that. Then Wonder Boy over there with that picture arm, he could have avoided that. But what you did, you kept standing low. Next thing you know, you get your arm clutched. Now you a suspect because you've been disappeared for a long time. Come to find out, you ain't a suspect. You just been on the sideline rehabbing. And then it was just those for me.
All right, Casey, Fred.
But other than that, the cinematic parts towards the end, those are the good ones too.
Yeah.
Casey, Fred, what scene stuck out to you or didn't stick out to you? Shit. Since you hated this,
he didn't say anything. He hated the whole movie.
I'm not going to say anything that you guys. I want to leave you guys to go ahead and say all your favorite scenes. But I will say, I thought him all of a sudden wearing the clown costume to throw everybody off, since most of them was wearing that John Carver outfit. I thought that was really cool because one thing, nobody expected the clown to start going around killing. So I thought that was very unique. Another scene that really got me was the guy that CLS kept talking about that kept trying to give him guns. And then he runs up to, I think, I'm trying to remember what the girl's name was, the main one, and says, "Hey, I want to give you my Jessica."
Yeah, Jessica. It was Jessica.
And says, "I want to give you," was it his grandma's ring or something? Which,
one of his family members.
That being beneficial because it ended up all of a sudden having like a knife or something.
A little knife. Yep.
Rope, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then she tossed it to Scuba to be able, so that way they both could be able to get out and escape. So I thought that was really cool. And then the very last one I thought was after she had killed him, the simple fact that she was traumatized so much to the point that at the very end of the movie, she thought he was in the closet. And the reality was, she wakes up and realizes it was just the door closed, but just the simple fact that she's been traumatized to the point where she's never going to forget this guy for the rest of her life. I thought that was kind of deep in how they did it that way. So those were just my three things that kind of really stuck out with me. But yeah, I still thought the movie sucked. So I mean,
all right, amazing. What scene stuck out to you?
I did think there was. I don't know if you guys listened to like the beginning scenes. They were like so potty mouth. Like the stuff they were saying was so nasty. Like they were like pee lickers and suck my D. Like that was like, what in the world? So those scenes, like right away I already knew this is gonna be kind of like going like left field, like more comedy versus scary.
Yeah.
Again, the other scenes were just like when he was killing people, like the corny references he would make. So, you know, like when he jabbed the cheerleader and was like, holiday cheer, or he was saying something along those lines. But they were kind of funny, I thought. And then to add a little bit to Fred, I was surprised at the end, and I mean, I'll mix it a little bit with the change of scene, but it also stuck out. Just I was shocked that she still ended up with Ryan at the end. Like I was like, what's going on right here? I thought she was going to end up with Bobby.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't think that.
Just like,
I thought that.
Yeah, it didn't give enough context.
Because they broke. The only reason they broke up was,
don't get me wrong. Towards the end, you would think that, right? But it didn't ultimately sell like there was going to be that much of a context there.
But it will happen, I think, because even if you remember, like she gave Bobby like the big hug, and he was like, "I'll call you when I get back to school," and then that's when Ryan showed up, and he didn't, and she was like, "Eh." So I was just like, she like brushed him off. Yeah. So I think they will end up together in part 2.
That's what I thought they would get back together too.
She still gave Ryan.
I could see Brian. I could see the dude that she's dating ends up getting murked, and then of course Bobby's right there to pick up.
Or
he pretty much won by default.
He did, but I could still see him getting drug in somehow, like being attached somehow, maybe it coming out in the next.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like he more likely win at the end because, I mean, competitive. I mean, just competitively in this movie, they shown him and her together more. So it's like this is definitely going to be like one of those. Yeah, he's gonna like the boyfriend at this time. He's gonna just fall off and fade into existence. But Bobby's gonna be the one to pick up because he's the fighter.
Y'all making Bobby sound like a sucker.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying Bobby's more the protector. I mean, the other dude, he's just some prissy dude. Like, okay, whatever. You got some money on you. Congratulations, but you ain't that guy. You ain't armed already.
Let me get manic scenes. What scenes stuck out? Our performances stuck out to you?
I mean, all the killing scenes. They had their parts. But I would say the most influential one was the very first kill because it really set the tone with the girl at the restaurant. It's like, first off, she was like a terrible person. The diner chick. She was just a terrible person.
Waffle maker.
Waffle chick, like was beating people with the waffle maker, like stepping over people, climbing over people.
Yeah, did she take it out the dude's hand? Remember, he was laying on that pallet and she took it out.
Yeah, he was dead. He was dead. Like he's like, she's like, "Hi, it's fine."
And you know what was so crazy too?
Oh man,
the same guy actually went into the diner the 1 year later and met up with the other cop. Oh, that was priceless. That was priceless.
Yeah,
he was staking out the place.
But her death was crazy because it's just like it was the first one. It's just like it really sets the tone of what this movie is going to be all about. And he like slams her, and it's just like, first of all, they're about the same size, so I'm like, she didn't even put up a fight. So I was like, okay, it's gonna be one of those type of movies. Then like throws her in the water, then throws her against the freezer, and the freezer sticks to her face, so it burns off your skin and hands, and then she escapes, and she's in the room with her cell phone. She's trying to unlock her cell phone, but it can't recognize her face because her face is mutilated, and she doesn't have any fingerprints because she lost it and like pulling it off the. But it's just like she could have used her knuckles. She could have like used. I mean, but it just sets the tone of like, okay, what this movie is really about to be about. It's not about to be about reality or practicality. It's just going to be like, hey, she's supposed to die, so she's going to die. And then like it allows her to escape, and you think she escapes, and then he has the car. Then she runs to like, I'm going to jump in the trash can, which is like a terrible idea.
Yeah, really.
But then she gets halfway in there, right? And the lid closes, and like it completely chops off her body. Like, when did trash can lids become metal with like shears? That's just like,
dude. I can assure you, it's hard plastic. I used to work in waste management, just hard plastic.
Yeah,
not the container, not the container itself. But the lid, yes, the lid is plastic. Hard plastic.
Yeah, so it's just like in this movie, in this fantasy world, which is fine. It's like trash can lids are shears and metal shears that are like that have enough force to slice a body and break his spine, sever every type of material.
That was a good trendsetter because that hey, when he put the body on the
star,
like,
like
yo, that was perfect. I was like, okay,
but that's
got my attention.
She didn't have to
all the deaths, you know, are stuck out, and the acting was solid all the way through. No problems with the acting. But that first death really it set the tone of like what this movie was about to be like. The funniest death to me though was when the dude spun the dude's head backwards. Like heads are just that easy to spin and break somebody's neck. He's like, he was watching his girl, and then dude just walked behind him. He's like,
yeah. Yeah. Was it the buzzsaw? No, you're talking about Scuba's girlfriend, right? You're talking about that scene?
No, not even that one.
No, you know, I think he's talking
the cheerleader.
About the other
cheerleader.
Yeah, the other.
Cheerleader.
The dude was watching. He was watching this just cheerleader girlfriend. She was like, "Hey, watch this," and he's like watching, and the dude just comes up behind him and just like he doesn't just like snap his neck and then like you know he falls down. Like I could see that happening, but he twists his neck all the way, you know, a full 180, and then like just walks off. Like it's so easy, just like
Jason Voorhees, right? Like Jason Voorhees, right?
Yeah. It makes different. It's different with Jason Voorhees because he's incredibly strong and like you know unhumanly strong. Like this guy is just a regular guy. He's like when I touch bodies, it was just funny. So
it was funny.
Funny.
All right. Yeah, the scene for me, man, I think the funniest one was the second person that got killed. That one guy in his apartment.
Oh, with the cat?
Yeah, that shit was
it was, though.
That was a funny scene. So
he made sure he fed the cat too.
Yeah, so now like what Manic was saying, it's like all the death scenes, man, were just hilarious, man. Because like the trampoline one, the build up, that scene. So I think that's why I said I like the storyline, man, because it was just like all the killings were pretty much over top. Even the lady that was like in the oven, it was like, damn, you know.
Oh man! Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that wasn't funny. That was just torture.
Dude, she should have never got killed. If you go back and watch that scene, all she had to do was run out the front door. The door was unlocked.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying, man. It was just like
she shouldn't have died.
But their stupidity, man. That's what. Because even like, I like how they did the movie too, because it was just like, you know, they made them a little clumsy. Where, like you said, they could have got away, but it was just like their stupidity like messed them up. So I like how they kind of made that a little realistic.
She made it all the way to the kitchen, and the doors were unlocked. All she had to do was just run through the living room, run straight out the door, and she'd have been out.
That might be.
Go ahead, Wally. What was you about to say?
No, because my thing is, I think because let's be honest here, the only thing that only set her off was the simple fact of when she opened the fridge and the blood started leaking out. That was the only thing that set her.
Well, the girl was still alive. Remember, the girl was still in the fridge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but the fact that the blood was still leaking out, that would set her up because you let the blood out. Now you got the blood all over for it, and it's on your feet. You're letting the trail. There's nothing there, and it's obvious that there's nowhere you can hide other than the wall. That's why he pokes the dang wall, and he catch you slipping. Like he's gonna walk away. When in reality, he never walked away. He caught you right there. But there's nothing else there.
But you remember when she came up, he was still down in the basement. All she had to do was just run out the fucking house. Which she eventually did when he came back up. But I was like, damn, why didn't you just run out to begin with? I mean, the door was unlocked. It wasn't locked.
Yeah, but that was a chance. You never know if it was unlocked or not.
And he was he was still in the basement though. He didn't come up the stairs yet. He was still in the basement. Because he thought she was down there. Remember, she was hiding and she.
I understand that part, but that was the whole thing. Until he actually got out the way. That was the only part that you never know if it was open or not. Because you got to think about it. 9 out of 10, you're gonna lock up these doors one way or another. So it was like, so it wasn't that much obvious. I mean, you hope it was that obvious, but even then, it was just one of those missteps. And plus, let's be honest. Honestly, there's always that one gullible person that's all gonna get murked off, and she was that gullible person that got murked off.
Dude, Scuba should have died. Let's be real. Scuba should be dead. He was the weakest person on here. He couldn't fight. He had a gun, didn't use it, and then
let's be real about this. Let's be real about it.
And he's black.
So you trying to tell me?
Go ahead.
I mean, look, that's true, but I'm glad they didn't pull that stereotype. Thank goodness
Dude,
they didn't pull that
he
stereotype.
had the gun. She called him. His girlfriend called him. He knew what happened. They rushed over to the house. I don't even remember. Did he fire the gun? I don't even remember. He fired the gun. He had one.
No,
I think
he fired
did.
it. He fired it, but it got locked up. Like
Got jammed.
Yeah,
Like the gun jammed.
Yeah,
or
he got
something?
jammed.
Oh,
It got
okay.
jammed. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
man.
fired
He's weak.
it, but he got jammed.
Even at the dinner table scene, though, he can't fight. I mean, Jessica helped free him. You know what I mean?
Of course he could. He's a football player. Doesn't mean he was a fighter.
He's a pussy.
Hey, look,
He really was.
better him than the other dude.
Oh, you
that
talking
was
about?
there.
Oh, you talking about the other?
The
what was his
other
name?
football dude.
Was it Adam?
Yeah, my
What was
man got his
his name?
full Bastion.
What was his name? Adam?
I
Yeah,
think so,
that-
man.
Whatever his name was. I think it was Adam. Yeah. He's the one that cheated on it, or the dude did his homework. He stole it from the teacher's blog or something.
Yeah,
like that.
better than that dude within this dude.
Yeah, he was an airhead too. Yeah.
No, it was Evan. It was Evan.
Yeah, Evan. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Thought it was
But all
Evan.
right, let's go ahead and jump. If you were the director or producer of this movie, what would you change or do differently? And I'll start with Wally on this one.
All right. Well, like I said before, I wish they actually did a little filler in when they break down some of the sceneries as far as the people that that passed away, all the other thing. Give the news to so-called the husband that there was a child, but it passed, which would have been a little bit more of an extra filler because maybe you would have saw the cop being a little bit more emotional than ever at that point to sell a little bit, to sell some telltale signs, or to at least make it convincing, at least try to make it a little bit more puzzling about this whole situation. To look, that's pretty much the main thing. What else would there be? I think honestly that would be the main thing because the only thing that was a little bit of a backfire was towards the end when I forgot who the girl name is, but Jessica when she fired off that when she fired off and blowed up the station like in the middle and the guy was stuck in there and he got on fire. I just seemed like that wasn't enough. Like for him to escape that tells me two things. Because now there has to be more of an information pull on him. Like for instance, let's say like okay, because we all know now that there's going to be a second movie, which I'm glad there is because you don't just walk away and not come back and finish the job at this point, right? So
how can you survive that explosion though? There's no way you can survive that though.
Well, because this is my whole point. Because that's what I'm saying. They need to draw back some history on him. Because I think for him to survive that, he has to at least be military. Like put that into play. Like put that that little nudge in play. Like he was ex-military, but he decided to be a cop. Whoop-de-whoop. At least that gives a little bit more toughness and a little bit more realness to survival. And now it makes more sense because his toughness would be a little bit more qualified. Because that I ain't gonna lie, that's there's no way. I thought he was wrapped up in that plastic clown and they got a body. Nope, he's still alive. I'm like, oh, you got me kidding.
All right, let me get CLS on her. What changes would you make to this movie, or would you just keep it the same?
I would keep it the same, but maybe change one thing. What was it? What was the wife? What was her name? Amanda? That was the wife, right?
Yeah.
Amanda? Yeah. Maybe you make it so Amanda doesn't die, but during the riot, she loses the baby. But she survives. You know what I mean? That type of situation. Maybe then I don't know. Maybe the story would be a little different. The storyline would be a little different. Like maybe he still want revenge, but you just killed his kid. Well, the from the affair. But would he blame everyone that during the riot and go around killing people from the loss of the
she
baby?
needed
of the
to
child?
die to make it. I think
Or
she needed to go.
Or do you need
I think
everyone to die? Well, I guess I don't know what you call it, like his girlfriend and the baby die, so that way everything still happens.
I mean,
I think both of them had to go.
They both had to go.
Yeah.
No. Actually, no. It would be a little bit more convincing if she stayed alive, right? Because once she be traumatized,
and the baby
still dies. He still takes revenge.
Right.
She was so traumatized to the point that she doesn't pull the trigger on divorcing dude, which means he stayed alive, which means he would have been an extra body to be murked off.
Right.
She would have been like, "Why are you doing all this?" Would make it a little more cinematic. Keep her alive.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, just keep her alive.
That's
That's the only thing I
with
was
you
thinking.
guys.
Everything else just
But all right, let me get Fred. Would you change anything?
We don't know if he was. I mean, the way they made it is speculative whether he's still alive or if he's dead. But if they're going to have a second movie, I don't know if you guys felt this, but the whole time I felt a lot of Final Destination.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with Final Destination it's always the evil one always comes back to finish off the job. And so there's still quite a few people left in this movie that actually survive. And it would be the second one I could see if he did stay alive, it would be round 2. So once again, his face is already burned, and you notice he used all these different masks, but the one mask that never did get destroyed was actually the clown. So it would be kind of cool if he switched it up and then all of a sudden came back as the clown compared to this John Carver that he kept producing. And I think that would have been a nice little twist for the second one. But other than that, I mean, like I said, you guys know I love to eat, and especially nachos and everything. This movie sucked, man. I couldn't eat no.
Oh my goodness!
He said he watched the movie on an empty stomach.
Here we go. Here we go. We're gonna throw one of these out here.
He was hungry.
Horrible, man.
I'm hungry.
But other than that, that's I wouldn't change anything else.
All right, amazing. What would you change about the movie? You're on mute.
We can't hear you.
You're on mute.
Sorry.
There you go.
The only thing I might change is I thought there was a couple gaps just in like timeline as far as I did start to think it was the sheriff towards the end. But actually I said towards the end. The one thing that threw me off, and I just thought, to me, it was a gap in the way they put everything together, was when she went over the fence, broke her leg, and then all of a sudden
she broke the leg.
Yeah, she broke that ankle, like, and it wasn't a simple break. That thing was like deformed.
Right, but it looked like she still got hop.
Yeah, she still had hops. So that was like big gap. But when she found the sheriff on the ground, right, and he had been crowbarred, which then he says later, I just thought that timeline was way too quick, where something should have happened in between if they were going to have the sheriff be on the ground and then her find him and then her point him in. You know, that was just a super quick turnaround, which also brings me back to, is Ryan linked in this somehow? Like, are they going to bring him in on a second? Just because that happened so quick. I just felt like it was a big gap right there.
Yeah, because when you think about it, because like you just said, because I didn't know exactly what officer that was on the ground, but of course, by the time he woke up and everything, he came to the scene. He does shows all the markers and everything. I'm like, wait a minute. If it was you the whole time, how can you sit there, be in the mark, and she literally left the force and you just popped up right there? So I'm thinking that's what I'm saying, that there had to be someone working with him as a double ganger.
Yep.
So that's what I'm like, you're sort of.
He says, Bobby, remember he says, like, you pointed me in the right direction because I went to get Bobby out and he popped me with the, I forget what he popped him with, a car tool. So I was just like, okay, that all took place way too fast. There has to be a second involved, and I think it's Ryan.
Yeah, no, as far as making any changes, I wouldn't, because like you said, since there's going to be a part 2, when Wally mentioned earlier, where we're talking about Scream, how they had the 2 people, that's what I was amazing. I was actually what you were thinking about. I was like, that guy Ryan, because he was just so like sometimey where everything popping up and stuff. So, you know, Bobby had to do all the heavy lifting. So it's like, oh, he definitely had to kind of be involved in that last scene where what's his name jumped out the fire. That's why I think that connection, she's still like, the intuition knows like something's going on, and then, you know, what's his name's like laying next to her. So it's just like, I think there was some foreshadowing there. So that's why I was like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he's definitely tied to the story, because he was just kind of just weird, like an outcast from the group of friends and stuff. And yeah, so I definitely think they're gonna make that connection.
And plus, he's the closest one to have that body frame the same way. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But all right. So now that you heard other perspectives and stuff, would you change your score or keep it the same? So we'll start with Wally on this. You're gonna go up from your 7.
Yeah, I mean, look, for as far as my changes go, I wouldn't cut it that back down, but it definitely still in my head. Like, I really do wish, like, towards that part, they did throw in that filler in, because it literally would have changed my whole mind frame on the scenario of how this was going down, because it just left a big cliffhanger of all things that was going on, and then to see it all pop towards the end, and it's like, this how it all went down. This is the reason I lost my kid. All this, I'm like, wait, what? Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna keep it at 7.
All right. CLS, you gonna keep your score the same? You going up or down?
Oh no, I'll keep it at 6. 6.
All right. Casey, Fred, you staying at the that score down there? You going up or down?
Well, I'm definitely the outlier, but after hearing and listening to everybody, I think you guys have all changed my score. I'm just going to go down to a 1 because this was. Because of all the gore.
Oh, you're so foul.
The main actor in there can't even put some money down, and he knows this was bad, so he's just not even going to even help produce the film.
Oh,
but how do you know
that you already?
Yeah, how do you know? How do you know that? You didn't mention it a lot.
Yeah, but how do you know like the?
He didn't even change shoes, which you even saw at the very end, which nobody even brought that up. It just lets me further know that all of a sudden this movie was trash. So I'm just going.
I mean, yeah, because he didn't have time. It's common sense, though. It's a little bit of common sense that you're always gonna slip up eventually. A villain always slips up eventually.
All she
And
had
they
to
mentioned
do,
that. They mentioned
all
that.
she had to do. Hey, everybody knows that a woman always checks out a man's shoes, so he should have known that up front. And
Oh,
see,
yeah.
Now you're throwing the clever ones in.
Well, see, at the end of the day, like I said, this was all a trash movie. And like I said, I couldn't eat nachos, but I will be eating them next week. You see what I'm saying? So next week. But this week, no. Definitely.
All right.
Going
Let me get him
to a 1. So
all right. So Fred's going down to a 1. Amazing. You going up, down, or are you staying?
I think I'm gonna go up. I'll go ahead and go to a 5. Because I did again, I there was a lot of funny scenes, so I'll definitely give it that. I still don't think it was horror. I could never put it in that category. But slasher, gore, comedy, and like you had mentioned in the beginning, people at Thanksgiving time, I think I went out one time when I was like young and broke looking for a specific item. For when they actually used to have good stuff on sale. But it's crazy to me. Like there's no way I would go out right now. People are insane. So I do think that was kind of clever, just the way they tied that together. But then also to make a mockery out of it being a waffle maker. I mean, guys, we're talking about like new
smart
TVs.
I was looking for the TVs. I was looking for all that.
I mean, and that was on the news like last Black Friday too. It was like people in like Walmart fighting over like in Target fighting over like there was a woman trying to buy like 4 flat screen TVs. He's trying to buy 4 TVs at once.
Yeah,
they're fighting over TVs.
Remember, like back in the day, people would definitely like. I remember when our son was small. Like I think the reason I went out was to try to get some like when the new video, like when video games were like brand new and came out or something.
PlayStation, probably PlayStation, right?
Right.
PlayStation.
But nowadays, I'm just like, there's so many sales before and after. So I just thought it was kind of clever how they did that. And then again, just to make a joke out of the whole thing and make it a waffle maker, these people are fighting over. That was funny also. So I'll go to a 5.
She was cussing in the parking lot over that waffle maker. Remember, she mentioned it in the parking lot.
She was
at the gate. She was determined to get that waffle maker.
Her mouth was like a drunken sailor.
She was determined to get that waffle maker.
Yes.
Oh yeah. For the record, Fred, somebody like Patrick Dempsey, he's like A-list. he doesn't have to audition anymore. Like I bet you, like producers and directors, they probably just throw scripts on his lap and it was like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And he's probably like, "Okay." He probably just, "Okay, I'll do it." He don't have to put no money up.
Yeah. they begging him for.
Yeah, he
I think it was a good movie for him to do.
But what money did they really have to put up? All
Not
it
much.
is just some closing, some clothes, things like that, switch ups. I mean, that's pretty much it, really.
Yeah, they probably could have made this, I don't know, $200 and made this whole movie. We could have made this movie.
Well, push back on that because Tom Hanks is a top A-list and he still put some money down on Auto. So as far as
but he chose to do that.
Yeah, that was he chose it. That was a Swedish film. Yeah, he chose to do that though because he wanted to make it. He chose to do
Don't do that.
Yeah, Patrick Dempsey's
I
like,
see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. I mean, he doesn't do that with all his films though. He just liked the book. He probably just liked the script. So that's why he put money up because he really liked the script. But this is a slasher film though. This is it's a slasher film though. It's different.
Yeah, I think it was a good role for Patrick Dempsey because you remember that's how what's his name, Bradley Cooper got popping when he took that one role because he was always like the nice guy, but in the Will Ferrell movie, which movie was that where he was like Wedding Crashers, where he played the hater. You remember where his girlfriend and stuff. And that was the one that the role that kind of catapulted him to the next career because I remember seeing an interview where he was like, people seeing him kind of play the bad guy, like took him to that next level and stuff. But I'm definitely going up. I'm going to a 7.5. Like I said, I thought it was funny, so I took it for the comedy element versus like the horror stuff. I like how it was over the top with the scenes, so I like the Eli Roth style. How he turns horror slasher films into like comedy and stuff. And Manic, he said he's going up to a 6.5, so he went up also. But all right, man, we'll go ahead and start closing this out. So any parting words from anybody? We'll start with you, CLS.
Check out the film when you get a chance and leave comments below and let us know what you think. Your rating. If you agree with Fred, you can put that in the comment section too. If you agree with Fred, put it in the
all right, my man Wally, parting words.
Yeah, parting words is I didn't think we were gonna have another Auto moment, but in reverse. At a worser number rating. Like really? Oh, come on.
Hey,
but other than that,
somebody gave it a 10, so I gave this movie a 1. So I think we're about even.
Ain't nobody giving this old 10.
Nobody gave this a 10.
Okay, someone trolling. Someone trolling.
Nah,
that ain't no 10. That was no 10.
Nah.
That was no 10. That was trolling. I don't know who gave that 10. You must have never watched scary movies. This must have been your first one, and it's like, okay, you locked into it. If that's the case, then fine. But other than that, that was no 10. You haven't seen scary.
Not at all. Casey, Fred, parting words.
Yeah, so if you would like to fast, do intermittent fasting where you don't eat when you're watching a movie, this is the movie for you. If you want to be able to eat your meal, please do not watch this movie under no circumstances, because you will be like the father who threw up after his woman got sliced right there on the leg while her head was over on the side. So I just want to tell you right now, please watch this with all caution and stay away from the refrigerator. So.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't watching the movie. I didn't care.
Me too. Papa John, pizza.
But all right, let me get amazing in there. Amazing. Parting words.
Just Fred was starving during the movie.
I didn't treat this as a horror. I treat this as an action movie. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, action comedy. But all right, amazing. Parting words, amazing.
My parting words are: don't go shopping on Thanksgiving or Black Friday. Stay home with your family.
Just order it. Just order it. Go on.
Order it. The deals are there.
Oh yeah.
My parting words: I'm a little upset with Frederick for lying today. Not only did he lied for the whole time frame of this movie review, acting like he solved the crime. He had all this insight. So Frederick, I'm gonna have to call my sister up and see if you're lying about your insight on this movie.
I think he was. I think he has some food too. He's probably.
Just like everybody hated on me when I was the Super Bowl champion for the third time.
All right, we gotta go. Hey, y'all keep tuning in.
Cut this. Cut it.
Having technical difficulties.
Hey, let the hate begin. You know what I'm saying? You got to call it right sometimes. And hey, I called it right, man. So,
but I will be verifying this weekend and the next recording. I'll let you guys know if I got confirmation if Frederick was telling the truth. But all right, then y'all keep tuning in. Peace.
Yeah.